She says she loves me, but she's out loving someone else. Is it me or my money? I could really use your help. I don't trust this girl. No, 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 no. But she really rocks my world. Yo, blood, she was so
Welcome to Soccer Sanchez TV. It is Friday night and we're here for a special preview of the River Plate versus Boca Juniors second leg of the Copa Libertadores final. I'm here with Stuart. Stu gets goals. How you doing, Stuart?
Yeah, good to be here. Good as we've got like a lumberjack thing going on.
We've got the Canadian lot going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good to have you back this week. Went around last week, but yeah, we're going to just dig into it. As you can see on the screen as well, we're also going to be talking about the Premier League match coming up tomorrow afternoon, 5:30 UK time, between Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea. But yeah, I guess we can start really with the first big match of the weekend. Really, yeah, it would be Tottenham. It'd be Tottenham. It would be River Plate and Boca Juniors. Now, first leg was played. Score finished 2-2, and quite an exciting game.
It was really good. That first half was a really good show for those that don't usually watch South American football, and it was good that it was shown around that time, which I think a lot of people would have had a chance to watch. And it was very end to end. It was a shame the second half didn't live to the same rhythm as the first half.
Yeah, true.
But it was a really frenetic pace, and I was surprised it was so high pace. I would have thought maybe both teams would have been a bit cagey and tested the waters, but it was good to see them constantly attacking, and it was a good 2-2. And now I think it's all to play for again in the second leg.
It's delicately poised for the second leg. Yeah. I thought it was a fantastic game. Obviously, there were a lot of people out there who weren't used to watching South American football, criticising the standard of the game, and I think if you look at the disparity between the European game and South American football, obviously financially the European matches, Champions League games, Champions League finals, and things like that, you're getting some of the best players in the world playing together. 22 players on the pitch, getting paid a lot of money. So it's a big difference. But I mean, I think it was I forgot who it was who said it now. I think it might have been the head of the FA of Argentina who said South American football is real football, whereas whereas Champions League football is PlayStation football. And you can kind of understand where he's going with that. As I mentioned there, the disparity there between financially between Libertadores and Champions League is huge. But I found it very exciting. I mean, it was an end-to-end game. And yeah, I mean, from the get-go, I think it was Abila who scored the first.
He's very physically. He doesn't seem like a footballer. He's a very stocky player, isn't he?
Yeah, he got in there quite a lot. He was very, as you say, physical and making his intentions known to the River defenders. And he had opportunities to do things in the game. I think he wasted quite a lot of them. His control was a bit iffy at times, but it made for an exciting game, really. As you can see, that Abila opened the scoring there on the 34th minute. Within 60 seconds, even less, we had Lucas Prato who just broke away from the kickoff.
It was a great finish. I don't know if it was the first or second goal where he just literally, I thought, it has to be literally the perfect shot to get past the keeper. Yeah. Just kind of going away from the goal. But the way he just placed that was unbelievably good. Yeah. And they always say the crucial time after a goal is the first 60 seconds. And Boca Juniors' defence just didn't weren't alert.
I mean, I think Boca might have been a bit shell shocked by the fact the atmosphere was great, and so when Boca scored, everyone was in a real high after that goal, and the fans were just making so much noise. And then within 30 seconds, River Plate just broke away, managed to carve through the Boca defence as if they weren't there, and the equaliser came in. And Lucas Prato just. On a side note, I thought played particularly well that day. He's he
was good.
One of River's best players on the night.
I was so gutted that Rafael Borre didn't get on the score sheet. He only had it 1-on-1, I think, with the keeper, where he just kind of fluffed his lines. But now he's going to be out the second leg, which would be a shame for those, for the Colombians that been following this game, because there's I think 4 or 5 Colombians that were playing in that second leg in that tie. But I was particularly impressed with not being biased here, but Barrios, he was really good, and I mean his tracking on the ball, his tackling was immense, and his distribution was quite good as well. And it's good to see that there's a lot of Spurs fans that really kind of got behind him and said that if they do sign him, he'll be a great addition to the team.
He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
It's funny how, well, I keep reading this on Twitter, so I don't know where the name came from, but they were calling him the Colombian Kante. Now, Kante is an exceptional player. I'm not sure we can compare Kante and William Barrios, but I can see what they mean. The tenacity, the fact that he likes to get in there with tackles. Stamina-wise, he's great. I mean, he reads the game very well, to be honest with you. I mean, I think I mentioned in the preview, we spoke about the first leg, his game has upped a lot, and I think he's matured a lot as a player, especially in the last, I'd say, 6 to 12 months. And he's a very important player for Boca, and again, he will be coming for the second leg. He did get into a bit of a fracas, which is expected of Barrios. We expected that.
Hands on necks and stuff.
Hands on necks. I'm glad the referee, among other things, the referee was fantastic in that game. I thought he controlled the game very well. It could have easily, at that point, have gone a bit pear-shaped. Kind of, if you can compare the way the referee dealt with that kind of game, that atmosphere in the game, compared to like the England's Colombia game in the World Cup where the referee completely lost it. I thought this referee in the Copa Libertadores first leg did very, very well, controlled the players, wasn't too card friendly.
He didn't make any decisions that you'd think like, what was that all about? They were all quite, let the game flow a bit. I saw there was a few challenges there that he kind of just waved play on and didn't, recall play back. So I thought he had a great game as well. But it was a shame that Pavon, though, that he was the one that we really kind of talked about the last time, and he kind of got injured towards the end of the first half. Yeah. He wasn't really having the greatest of games, but
he didn't really have much of a chance. I think he got injured after 30 minutes, 25 minutes, and
yeah,
when he did have the ball, the crowd were standing on their feet and they were very excited to see him, on the ball, given that he was probably the most high profile player Boca have. But yeah, it was apart from Carlos Tevez, obviously, but. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Torn hamstring, I believe he had, and he came off to the advantage of Boca Juniors in a sense because his replacement Benedetto came on and managed to put Boca ahead just before the stroke of half time with a goal assisted by, as you can see there, Villa.
So, yeah, he crossed it in. I mean, I didn't know he had that in his locker. Because usually a player that you always associate with, running directly at players, Sebastian Villa, because he's got tons of pace. But he had a very good game, I thought. He was always dangerous with the ball. He was always making, good runs. So I was particularly impressed with Villa. But one player that kind of did, I think, let himself down was Franco Armani. The keeper for River Plate.
You thought so?
Yeah, I mean, he made a couple of good saves, but I thought the goal that he let in, at his near post, he should have done better.
Yeah.
And I mean, Atletico Nacional fans would have thought he would be doing better there. But the thing is, he's so tall, he's such a big figure that maybe getting down so low is a bit of a challenge for him. But yeah, he's someone that he probably thinks that he could have done better himself. I think.
I mean, you wouldn't blame him for being nervous. Keeping goal in front of the Boca end, Boca Stadium, and the abuse he must have been getting directly behind him. But yeah, I mean, I thought he did all right. I mean, for the goal, he wasn't great. He could have maybe had stronger hands. A lot of it is expected of him, considering many people are calling for him to be the first choice goalkeeper for Argentina. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he could have done a lot better.
There isn't much strength and depth in the goalkeeper department for Argentina. I mean, apart from Franco Armani, there isn't really much out there that you'd say, yeah, he has to be a starter. But I think the Boca Juniors goalkeeper did very, very well. Rossi, he made some very good saves.
Yes.
Someone that's not usually playing in the first team to rise to such a big occasion in the final of the Copa Libertadores. He did very well, and you couldn't really blame him for the goals.
Yeah, definitely. And then obviously the equaliser came in the 61st minute set play, free kick, ball lofted into the penalty area, and unfortunately for Izquierdos, he headed into his own net. Yeah. Allowing River to come back into the game for a second time, and yeah, getting this game to 2-2. And I mean, what did you think of in general of the whole game from the first leg?
It was a great advertisement for the second leg. I think now everyone's going to be expecting frenetic pace in the second game. I don't think it'll be like that because I think River know that they have the advantage now. So they'll try, set the pace, try and keep things solid, and try and stifle Boca Juniors in El Monumental, which is River Plate's home ground. But I mean, I would have thought maybe Juan Quintero, who came on the second half, he might be up for being the first team in the second leg. Even though he's a playmaker, I think that they'll want to have him there to pick the right passes.
You think he'll start the game? Because before I mentioned, I didn't think he was going to play because it was the first leg. It was at BOCA. Maybe River were going to be quite cautious, and obviously with the pitch, the conditions that they were in, I thought a player like Quintero maybe not might have been the right choice. And we were right. He didn't start. He did come on. He did cause some problems.
Yeah, I mean, he came on kind of late in the second half, so he didn't have much of a chance to kind of shine. But I think like with the second leg poised the way it is, he might not play. He might not start. But I think if BOCA were to score a goal, he'll definitely come on and try and get things going again.
Yeah, I mean Martinez was the one. I think he came off for Quintero. I thought he played very well.
Gonzalo Martinez.
Yeah, he had a couple of chances. One left foot shot, almost a exact replica for the goal he scored against BOCA recently. But yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see what the starting lineup will be, and if we take a look at what the predictions that we have for the starting lineup of this game. Give me 1 second. Technical hitch. Let's have a quick look at the BOCA Junior starting lineup. As always, I think anyway, Agustin Rossi is going to start in goal. They do have the first choice goalkeeper Esteban Andrada back from missing the first leg. Whether he starts or not will be interesting to know. I think they might just stick with Rossi in goal. Leonardo Jara playing right back. Carlos Izquierdos playing centre back. Lisandro Magallanes playing centre back as well. Lucas Olanza left back. Nathan Nandes in centre midfield. Wilmar Barrios from the Flintstones. Wilmar Barrios playing in centre midfield. Paulo Perez centre midfield as well. On the left wing, Sebastian Villa. Ramon Avila up front, and I think with the Christian Pavon missing,
be Benedetto.
I think Benedetto will actually start that game. I mean, what do you think? I mean, there are also other options there.
Yeah.
Carlos Tevez, Cardona.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're probably right on the starting lineup, but I've seen there's been talk about Cardona potentially, having a start. I don't see it personally. I see him maybe on the bench, but the thing is, he's fallen so much out of favour in BOCA Juniors that I don't know, for some reason his attitude has kind of affected him, and he's kind of fallen out of favour with management. But it'll be good to see Cardona play. I mean, he does have his moments where he's a good playmaker, but I mean he doesn't necessarily do all the running that you'd expect to see from midfielder. But yeah, I think you're kind of spot on there with the starting lineup.
Magallanes, I thought, played pretty well in the first leg. Very solid defender. And I think it took BOCA Juniors by surprise a little bit. And a lot of us that River Plate actually started the first game with 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs, so essentially playing like a back five. But yeah, I mean, as I mentioned,
the front and the back three didn't do a great job of preventing. Was it Prato? Was it Prato that scored? Yeah. True,
that's very true. But I mean, Prato particularly, I thought was on fire. To be honest, he had one of his better games for River Plate. I'm sure that he'll cause a lot of problems in the second leg as well. Yeah, I mean,
if you were a scout watching that game, who would you thought would be ripe for taking to Europe?
Prato, I don't think he'll come to Europe. He's got to the point in his career where I think he's happy in South America. But I mean, Martinez is already scheduled to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's a coup for them, to be honest with you, because that is one player that I would have presumed would have wanted to make his name in Europe. Obviously not signed a contract with Atlanta, so is going over there soon. Barrios, there's been rumours that he's going to be leaving BOCA in January. Tottenham Hotspur, a particular club, have been mentioned many a time by the English and South American press. And I think, did we see a tweet or an Instagram post that his agent was actually in London?
Yeah, I think you sent me that.
Yeah, but
you've been telling me a few times that he's been about to sign on the dotted line. So I'd like to see it actually happen.
This is what I keep hearing. So it will be interesting to see whether that's the case now. Unfortunately, my system hasn't worked, and the starting lineup I had ready to show you guys isn't actually on the screen. But I can tell you that it will be mainly an unchanged lineup. I think this time round, River Plate will go for a back four. unfortunately, Borre won't be playing. He's suspended after receiving a yellow card.
Silly yellow card, I think. It was a bit petulant the way
Very.
the way he kind of talked to the ref.
Yeah.
He was lucky not to get sent off because I think he actually swore at him behind his back, and the referee kind of caught wind and tried to look back, and then he kind of just played it off. But
it would have been silly if they would have sent him off for that, though.
But I mean, it's South America. Referees can sometimes be very picky and very petty with bookings.
Considering we're talking about how impressed we were by the referee, it was something that
But he did turn around and try and make more of what it had said. But I mean, the yellow card, he'll be gutted not to be playing the second leg because he would have been playing, I think.
I mean, what did you think of his performance? Obviously, he's not going to be performing in the second leg, but I mean, a lot have been talking about Borre. He was in Europe recently.
Yeah, we talked about it last time, and he was in Europe playing for Atletico Madrid at first, and then they loaned him out to Villarreal. It didn't quite work out for him. I think he scored 3 goals in like 30 appearances, so he just cut his losses and went back to. And Madrid sold him to River Plate, sold him or loaned him back. But it seems like he's found his home in Monumental, and I thought he had a good game against Boca Juniors. So I mean, he'll probably try and make a name for himself in Argentina now. And maybe, if push comes to shove, he might even end up going back to Europe because he's still quite young. He's only 24, I think.
Yeah.
And he's started to play for Colombia again, started to get called up. So you never know, that might kind of, instill some confidence in him.
I mean, for us, obviously we're disappointed he won't play in second leg, but as you say, that hopefully we can kick on his career and who knows if he'll be at River Plate next year. So Gallardo won't be with Santo Borre. Nacho Soco is injured and he won't be playing an attack either, or won't have an option anyway. And going for the team, Armani will play in goal. Casco left back, Pinola, Maidana, and Montiel make up the rest of the back four. Ezequiel Palacios, who's Madrid bound, with Poncio as well as Perez, will be playing in central midfield, supported, and then Lucas Prato up front, supported by Fernandez and Martinez. So, yeah, I mean, delicately poised, as I mentioned before, 2-2, no away goals in the Copa Libertadores, so that'll be interesting. No away fans in the Monumental. It was very impressive to see, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, Boca Juniors opened up their stadium for
training.
For open training, and it was a full house, essentially. Very impressive. 50,000, I believe, turned up. There was even more thousands outside,
Yeah, it was just
singing and making noise.
Vibe. It's a crazy vibe. You just see the stadium in the images just rocking, so as if they're going to play a massive derby.
Yeah,
but they just went there to support their team.
I mean, the atmosphere for the training was a lot better than a lot of clubs get for an actual football match. And
you're not going to fight. You're not going to see that in the Emirates or Stamford Bridge anytime soon.
Well, no standing. So yeah. But I mean, there was a video from an Argentinian journalist who was in the press box, and when the Boca fans started jumping up and down, literally you could see he had like a computer on the table. The computer was just wobbling, and it was just unbelievable to see the atmosphere that had been created by the Boca fans. So yeah, they're a crazy bunch. One other thing to mention: Carlos Tevez. Obviously, he's already won the Copa Libertadores before with Boca, and also the Champions League with Manchester United. So one of the few players that have managed to do both.
I mean, I think you'll need a player like him in such a critical game with that maturity. He's been there. He's been in big games before. I think did he play the final with United in the Champions League?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been in there and done it. So he'll know, the little tricks that will kind of add a little, maybe extra 5% or 10% to Boca Juniors. So I mean, if he comes on in the second half, he could change things.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he won't start.
From what he did from the first leg when he did come on, did make an appearance. He actually was quite effective. It reminded quite a little bit. I know it's not the same thing. When Rooney came on for England in his farewell game, Rooney was very good, to be honest with you. Had the ball, spread the ball a lot, and Tevez did the same thing. Set up Benedetto with an excellent opportunity. Benedetto threw 1-on-1. Unfortunately, hit it straight at the goalkeeper, Armani, and it was unfortunate for him. And apparently, I read that when Benedetto actually didn't take the opportunity, Carlos Tevez turned around and said, "Head up, motherfuckers! We can still do this."
Which the older Apache still got it.
Yeah, definitely, and
he still got it.
And obviously, a lot has been spoken about when Boca and River played in the semi-final, I think in 2004 in the Boca Libertadores. Tevez's chicken dance, which it was insinuating that River Plate were bottlers. They don't take their chances, etc. And he was actually sent off for that. which is really strange, to be honest with you. I mean, I've never
Yeah,
seen a player sent off for a celebration.
I told you, referees are petty in South America. Maybe not this ref, but other ones are.
Yeah, so it was unfortunate then. But I mean, yeah, Carlos Tevez, he's refused to answer any questions in the lead up to this game, whether or not this will be his final game for BOCA or in football in general. Obviously, he had his time in China. Well publicised that didn't go exactly to plan, and he was deemed very lazy, etc. But I mean, getting paid, why not? It's China, isn't it?
I mean, one thing that kind of stood out for me, because I don't usually watch a lot of Argentinian football, is that now I understand why it is that most players that go to Europe, that do the jump to Europe, go through Argentina, because the football there is quite similar. It's much more similar to the football in Europe than it is if you go to watch games in Peru,
Colombia, Brazil, even
even sometimes Brazil. It's very slow, very very. It's not appealing to watch. But now you know that when they go to Argentina, it's because they want to kind of the teams in Europe want to see how they perform in this kind of fast-paced environment.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean it's a good gauge in terms of seeing how well they might adapt to football in the big leagues.
I mean, you also see a lot of people who went from South America, go into Europe, maybe it doesn't go well for them, back to Argentina, for example, and then making their name again there, and then going back to Europe. I mean, Juan Quintero is an example of someone who might be able to do that, resurrect his career.
With Quintero, it all depends on his attitude.
Yeah,
but
I think that's for most players. Though.
I think he's very comfortable right now in Argentina, and I know he's on loan from Porto, so Porto could actually call him back when his loan expires. But whether he wants to do that, that's another question, because he might have just got comfortable with the environment in Buenos Aires.
Yeah, one player I wanted to mention as well, as you see on the screen there, Edwin Cardona, the number 10 for Boca Juniors. He was an important player last couple of years, but then he seems to have fallen off recently. Things didn't go well for him prior to the run-up to the World Cup. Colombia didn't pick him, didn't take him there.
And also his attitude as well. I mean, you saw the game last year against South Korea, or even this year, I think, was one of the friendlies. He was suspended for that racist incident in that friendly. So you have to think about what's really going on in the back of his mind.
Yeah.
Is there an issue that's affecting him? Because he did play very well for Monterrey, I think, in Mexico.
Yes.
And that kind of earned him his move to Boca Juniors. But I mean, I don't think he's done terribly bad. He scored quite a few good goals actually. He scored in the game before the Libertadores in the league.
Yes.
Scored a really good goal. So he does have it, but maybe they just don't trust him for such a big occasion, because you don't really see him tracking back, because he's a very big player, and I don't know why he hasn't consciously done made the effort to lose weight, because you can see that he's got a talent. If he also shed a few pounds, that would actually do a world of good for him.
It's just attitude, really, isn't it? It's another player who really has kind of fallen off by the wayside. Whereas we're talking about Barrios improving and getting his head down and getting better as a player, Cardona's kind of done the opposite. And I mean, you said there that he played the game prior to the Libertadores first leg. Of that team was essentially a reserve team, so it kind of shows where he is.
Yeah.
In that Boca squad, so yeah, it would be nice to see him come back a little bit and do something with Boca again. May even be his
last game.
Yeah, his last game for Boca is very well. It's been spoken about that he actually may be leaving. No other club has been muted as yet as to where he's going. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for him, but hopefully he can kick on.
Yeah.
And maybe go back to Mexico, or who knows, maybe even Europe. You never know. So second leg, Monumental, tomorrow evening. Today is Friday the 23rd, so 24th of November. 5 p.m. kickoff in Argentina, 8 p.m. kickoff in the UK. What's your predictions? Who's going to lift that trophy? And incidentally, if Boca win it, they'll equal the Independiente's record of 7 Copa Libertadores wins. If River win it, it'll be their fourth, and I think their first since 2015. So,
gosh,
who you put in your house on? Stu gets goals.
The thing is, I don't think home advantage is going to.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so, because I think both teams are going to be very nervous. And I mean, if Boca Juniors play the cards right, if they frustrate River Plate at home, the fans could try and maybe get on the back of River Plate, and it could work against them. So it could be Boca Juniors, but I'm going to go with a River Plate win.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
And I think Quintero will have something to do with that.
Really?
Yeah, because I think he's just got the magical pass, that one that unlocks defenses. And if you can find a right one to Lucas Prato, it could change things.
I mean, the starting lineup, I didn't have Quintero starting. Do you think he will
No,
start?
but I don't. Yeah, even if he doesn't start, I think if it comes on the second half, he could have that piece of magic.
Can you imagine he goes to penalties?
That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
So you can't miss that one. You can't miss this game. You can't miss this game.
Can't miss it. So yeah, check it out. River Plate versus Boca Juniors. Big game. The climax of the South American season out there. Well, not really, but in terms of Libertadores anyway.
It feels like it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, especially with it being the final Libertadores game played over 2 legs. It's a fitting end to that tournament's tradition of the 2-legged final. It's going to go to one game next year, like the Champions League. So yeah, I've got River to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Boca. I'm a Boca fan, if anything, but I think River do have the edge. Home advantage, I think, would be a massive factor, and I think the weather's nice.
Yeah, well, it'd be. It's not. I mean, it can't get too much worse than what it was 2 weeks ago with that torrential rain.
Yeah, true.
So hopefully the stadium, the pitch is going to be, it makes good for good passing football and for good attacking football.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I didn't see any kind of no part of the pitch was kind of flooded. So it made for good passing football, for good...
In the first
football.
leg?
Yeah, the first leg.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Considering it was raining for like nearly 48 hours beforehand.
It was flooded. It was literally you could see puddles in the pitch the day before the game.
It was very, very well kept and great atmosphere. And yeah, well, I'm expecting the same come tomorrow. But yeah. Soccer Sanchez TV says River Plate win.
Yeah, safe bet.
So, coming back closer to home, big Premier League match tomorrow. Undefeated Chelsea against Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham lying in 4th place and Chelsea in 3rd. Big London derby. Traditionally, Chelsea usually come out on top in these games. But in the last few years, especially when Pochettino's been there, there's been a change in that. Tottenham coming back into becoming a top 4 team, really. They've been in the top 4 since Pochettino's been there, finishing 3rd and 2nd place. And despite every season, the pre-season predictions being that Spurs won't reach the top 4, they're doing it again, considering there's no new signings. They've had 11 injuries this season to important players. They had 9 players who reached the semi-final of the World Cup. So fatigue has been an issue, or been talked about at least. Many people have said Harry Kane has been affected by it. I don't think so personally. He's still scoring goals. He's only one off the top scorers list, I believe. 6 goals in the Premier League. And again, last week for England, he saved them, essentially, and got them a poacher's goal, a 2-1 win over Croatia.
Well, it's not as much of a poacher's goal as Jesse Lingard's tap in, right?
Well, the second goal was Kane's.
Yeah, but I mean the first goal. That was a...
Oh yeah, that was a cheeky one. But yeah, better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's been playing very well. And London derby. I mean, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said about Spurs. Operating such a limited budget. But I think the player there that's kind of deserves, I think, the most praise so far for me is Lucas Moura. For me, I think he's been amazing, and he's so good to watch play because he's always so direct. When he's got the ball, he just goes straight at players. Doesn't necessarily do too much with the pass. He just goes straight, direct, and tries to generate something. But he's been the one that's most impressed me in midfield, and I think he's kind of made up for Sung Min not being there because he's been at on duty with South Korea, and Eriksen being out of the picture for now.
Or injured,
Yeah. He's kind of stepped up to the plate. And he's a player that kind of, people forgot about because he went to PSG, didn't get much game time. And, I mean, he's kind of trying, make up for the lost years, and he's playing very well. He hasn't got the same amount of goals that you'd have expected from Eriksen or Sung Min, but he's definitely contributed to the team, and he's great to watch.
I mean, he's been important. He's definitely been, although it was signed in January.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
This year. January this year. He didn't play much from January to May, at the end of last season. So having this pre-season at Spurs, I think it's helped him a lot. He's almost felt like a new signing because let's be honest, if he wasn't there and with the injuries that we did have, there would have been a bit of a struggle.
You guys would be struggling
to get players to get someone in that position anyway. And it's kind of dovetailed a lot with Harry Kane. I think this has got to do as well with the absence of Dele Alli. Dele Alli being injured as well because. If you notice, Harry Kane has dropped a lot deeper this season. He hasn't been out and out up front, taking shots all the time like he was doing last year. I think his shooting shots per game has dropped quite a lot. Still hasn't affected him. Obviously, got 6 goals. That's near the second place in terms of the top scorers in the Premier League. But yeah, Lucas Moura really came to the forefront really at Spurs this season when he scored the winner against Manchester United. He also scored a wonderful left-footed curling goal against Fulham, I believe. And been very effective, and his speed has been great. I mean, you mentioned there that he wasn't getting much game time with PSG, and that was only really the case during the end of 2017, and that obviously was because the signing of Neymar, and obviously with Di Maria there as well.
He's not going to get.
He wasn't getting much of a game time, but to be fair, and I've checked out his stats prior to that, the seasons that he was there, he was a regular. He was scoring over 10 goals every season, so he was contributing quite a lot to Paris Saint-Germain. But yeah, I think you're right. I think he's been a very rejuvenated player, especially for Tottenham, and a very useful one as well.
Do you see Spurs switching to some sort of in the future games going to 3 at the back, or do you think they'll stick with this 2 centre backs in Alderweireld and potentially Davinson Sanchez?
Well, the problem with this season is that because of the absence of Vertonghen for quite a few weeks now, it's been kind of difficult for Pochettino to kind of have 3 centre backs, because if that was the case, he'd have to put Foyth, Sanchez, and Alderweireld, and if any one of them got burnt out or got injured, then
could mess the system
then
up,
forget it. Then we've got to find someone from the youth team to play in that position. I mean, Eric Dyer can play centre back, and he's done it for quite a few times, especially under Pochettino. But I think that's partly why Spurs haven't really done the back 5 thing, because they did that quite a lot last year. Even the season before that was an option that was used a lot, really.
You had Danny Rose bombing, up and down the pitch. So maybe that kind of it's not going to work with that.
Even Ben Davies, to be fair, because Ben Davies played the majority of last season, but the wing backs were very important last year, and that was mainly down to the fact that they could play 3 centre backs regularly. But as I mentioned, the injuries has affected the team quite a lot, and now the introduction of Juan Foyth only in the last couple of weeks.
Yet another young Argentinian that's promising.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically he was made. People were made aware of him after impressive performances in the 2017 South American Championships, under 20 Championships, and then also that year, I think maybe a month after that, he was really, really impressive in the 2017 under 20 Youth World Cup. So I think that's when people started to take notice. Paris Saint-Germain and Spurs were the 2 clubs really trying to gain a signature. Thankfully for Tottenham, he came to White Hart Lane, and I think it's the best option really. Pochettino loves blooding in new youngsters,
especially with
he's Argentinian.
Yeah, that helps.
He's very composed play. He's very good on the ball, and despite it
didn't start off very well for him.
I was going to say, I mean, he made his starting debut against West Ham in the League Cup. Excellent, man of the match, played very well. Him and Sanchez looked like they've been playing together for years. And then a few days later, he started against Wolves for his first Premier League match. And as you say, things didn't go well.
No, not at all. Not at all. But then he's kind of made up for it with that goal against Crystal Palace and a man of the match performance that he had. So now he's kind of redeemed himself. No, not even redeemed himself, because he never really kind of fell out of favour. But he definitely made noise when he had that performance against Palace. But I see you have him there as him starting the game tomorrow.
Yeah. So let's go through the starting lineup. I think for Tottenham, Hugo Lloris in goals always, captain. Serge Aurier will come in because of the injury doubts for Kieran Trippier. Juan Foyth and Toby Alderweireld to start in centre back. Ben Davies at left back. Danny Rose still out with injury. Eric Dyer in the defensive midfield role. Moussa Sissoko. Not many people are impressed by him.
Yeah, I always give you a stick about him.
Yeah, he's got an engine, as they say. And I'll be honest, technically, I don't think he's up there. Many people say 30 million was a lot of money for him. But then again, 30 million is peanuts nowadays. So maybe that's the kind of player you get for 30 million. Who knows? But I mean, in the last few weeks, he's improved a lot. I think the other players have been happy with him as well, because you can see they support him a lot. You see not only on social media, but also on the pitch as well. They tend to encourage him, and a lot of praise has been pulled towards him in the last few games. Lucas Moura in the right attacking mid role, along with Christian Eriksen, left attacking mid. I presume Eriksen will play. He played a part in Denmark's recent game, so I don't see why
he might not start though. He might come on.
Maybe, but I mean, if he's able to play for Denmark, then I don't see why Pochettino wouldn't just put him in there. Especially,
did he start for Denmark?
I think he played for half an hour for Denmark. So yeah, it'd be good to have him playing. Dele Alli as well played his role for England in the friendlies recently, along with Harry Kane as well. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, they moved to Dembele, also out with injury, and unfortunately, Davison Sanchez, who I think has been absolutely immense this season. I know you're laughing because I tell you quite a lot, but
he's been very good.
He's been very good, and if you just watch him play, you'll see he wins the majority of the balls. He clears the ball away. I'll be honest. I'll think Foyth is probably better on the ball than him, passing wise and dribbling, and control of the ball. And you do get the sense that panicky sense when Davidson gets the ball, someone pressures him.
He still hasn't shaken off that kind of panicky sensation he gets when he's got the ball. That's what I saw when he first joined Spurs. He would be very rash in giving the ball away and going for long passes that didn't really come off. But now he's kind of just basically all he does is kind of clear it down on the sidelines, down the wing, and sometimes it kind of pays off. Actually, he sets up attacks that way. But now he's not going for those risky balls because he kind of acknowledges that that's not his strength. Potentially, Pochettino can try and work on that with him in the training grounds. But for now, I think he's doing the safe thing, which is really what a defender's there for. Kind of just play it safe and just make sure that he's winning all his battles, which is what he's doing. So yeah, I mean, he's done well. Yeah,
he's done very well. And I think you're right there. Last season, he was trying a lot of the long balls, which didn't really come off. I mean, Alderweireld's probably his better long ball kicker. He got a couple of assists last season by the last couple of seasons doing that, especially towards Dele Alli. But
it's just the way
Sanchez is just playing simple now. To be honest, and I noticed when he knows that he's in trouble, he just knocks it back to Lloris and just makes sure that the Spurs keep possession.
It's just the way I think the way he clears the ball sometimes. It's just a bit of a kick. He's not really trying to place it anyway. He's just kind of just kicking it now. He's not kind of going for any he doesn't place it or anything like that. He just kicks it down and just hopes for the best.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's been paying off so far.
Yeah, he just does the job right, and defensively, he's been very important for Spurs. Given Jan Vertonghen's absence, he's likely to return. Well, he returned to training this week, so it will be very good to see him. Make an appearance. I don't think he's going to actually start the game. Obviously, there's got Juan Foyth there, but it'll be good to see him. Eventually come on.
Do you think Spurs have missed him?
Vertonghen?
Yeah. Without, because you have good cover in the defensive department with Sanchez, even though he's injured now. But you have now Foyth coming into the picture. So do you think he's been missed?
I think he has been missed because he's a very important player. But considering Spurs, I keep saying Spurs have performed to their, it's the best start to the Premier League in ever really. Can't really complain really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we have missed him because he's a very important player. But yeah, I mean I think Pochettino has been very happy with the quality of the squad, in the sense that he can bring in anyone really, and they do a job. Our Spurs' only 2 defeats this season were against Man City, who, and I was at that game. I think we were extremely unlucky to have lost that game. We shouldn't have lost it.
Oh yeah, that great chance towards the end.
Yeah,
I can't remember who it was, but there should have been 1-1.
But in general, I mean, it was just a bit of just a lack of concentration from Trippier, which allowed Sterling. I think it was Sterling to come in, get the ball rather than just clearing the ball. Sterling got the ball, went past him, and laid it up for Mahrez, and that was the only goal of the game. And as you mentioned there, Lamela had an opportunity.
That's it, Lamela, yeah.
To actually at least equalise. Kane had a couple of opportunities as well, but Lamela had the best one. And the state of that pitch was just terrible. The NFL game was being played the day before, and it was very disappointing not to have come away for at least a draw, especially because it was absolutely freezing that day. But yeah, and then the other defeat Spurs had, which I was also at.
Yeah, basically don't go to any more games.
Yeah, I'm not going anymore.
I'm done. Sky.
I'm done. I'm waiting for the new stadium. Was against Liverpool.
That's if it ever gets completed. Keeps getting pushed back.
Well, that's the thing. So yeah, Liverpool and Man City were the 2 games, and I think the Liverpool game was Michael Vaughan in goal, and 2 mistakes by him.
Dodgy.
Yeah, gifted gifted Liverpool the win there.
I know we're going off topic here, but he was such a great keeper at Swansea 5 years ago. I think he was literally one of the best keepers in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But now I think all these years of like being on the bench has just kind of taken a toll.
Well, I mean, he's getting on a bit as well. I mean, not that's a bad thing, but obviously a lack of constant games doesn't help. I mean, he was, when Pochettino first arrived, he was essentially the cup goalkeeper. He played in every cup game. So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate he's not as good as he used to be because he has made the odd mistake. Then again, saying that, Lloris has also made a few high-profile mistakes as well. So it's just a goalkeeper's life, really. If you make a mistake, you get noticed, and people won't forget that, to be honest with you. But I mean, Lloris obviously is the first choice, and Vorm is just there in reserve. And to be honest with you, now that you mention it, Vorm is probably the third choice now with Gazzaniga putting in some good performances this season. I think he's had three.
He's the other one in Argentina's national team now.
Well,
Gazzaniga.
Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Spurs 25 player squad list for the Premier League. Every single one of them is an international now.
Is that the first time ever?
Which is the first time any club has had that, I think.
Any club?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Full international.
Okay, that's an achievement, right?
There you go.
So not even United have had that. United, Arsenal.
I mean, if you think about it now, look, Andreas Pereira, for example, is a Man United player, isn't he?
But he's been capped, I think, before Brazil.
For full Brazil in a competitive game?
I think so, in a friendly.
No, competitive.
Oh, competitive.
That's full international.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I don't think he's a full international then.
Yeah, no. So I think one of them even just back scrapes it because he's a Cypriot international. I forgot his name now, but yeah, him. So yeah, Spurs.
For Spurs.
Yeah, Cypriot. Yeah. Spurs have 25 full internationals, which is an amazing feat. And given the fact when Pochettino came in, no one had heard of Eric Dyer, Dele Alli, Harry Kane wasn't really anyone to special at the time. He's completely changed up that team, and
just pray he doesn't get approached by Real Madrid and nicked.
Don't worry, be fine.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned before, Chelsea are undefeated. Spurs still yet to draw a game, the only two defeats Spurs have had were against Liverpool, Man City, which isn't a bad thing to talk about. So if we go on to Chelsea now and take a look at what Chelsea have in store for us. Again, getting used to this. Give me a second. There's a Chelsea starting lineup. If you want to go through it for us, Stuart.
Oh, okay. So we have Kepa Arrizabalaga. Hopefully I've said that right. Hopefully it's better than Paul Merson's attempts at these words. So he's in goal. We've got Cesar Azpilicueta, right back. Antonio Rudiger in centre back, along with David Luiz. Marcos Alonso, left back. And we have N'Golo Kante, who just recently signed a new 5-year contract. Jorginho and Ross Barkley in midfield, along with Eden Hazard in the left wing, Willian in the right wing, with Alvaro Morata making the spear of the attack.
Yeah, and a lot has been made of Alvaro Morata this season. He made an appearance for Spain last week, and a very highly publicised open goal miss was doing the rounds on social media, which is a bit unfair on him, really. He recently came out and said it's been very tough for him recently, and mentally he's trying to get stronger, and he wants to do well for Chelsea, but it just hasn't gone his way. And with Oliver Giroud on the bench, I'm surprised that Sarri hasn't actually tried to switch things up and make Giroud the.
And I think he's just trying to keep faith with Alvaro Morata and telling him that, listen, like we trust you and we back you to do well for us. So maybe it's a vote of confidence in Alvaro Morata.
True.
But it's kind of being made like the Karim Benzema of Chelsea that just misses loads of opportunities. And you can see sometimes he doesn't make the right decision or misses chances that you would expect him to finish. But he does contribute to the football. And I'm particularly this season impressed, really much so, with Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
I think he's come on leaps and bounds.
Definitely.
He's a player that I've always admired and really thought he was a good player at Everton.
Yeah.
He had he would sometimes not track back, but when he's on the ball, you expect something to happen because he's got a great eye for a pass. That's a very good shot at him as well. But I think recently he's started to make the right decisions on the pitch, and he scored a few goals. He's been really good, I think, this season.
Yeah, I mean, the start to his Chelsea career wasn't that great. I mean, he wasn't really starting many games. This year's a lot different, especially the atmosphere around Chelsea in general. I mean, I think the Sarri appointment has given a lift to the whole club as a whole. Conte's time at the end of last season wasn't great. Even to be honest, at the start of last season when you had all those problems with Diego Costa, even pre-season, the whole text message fiasco, I think things weren't right then. Things have changed now. I read a lot about how in the training ground people are happy, people enjoying training. The players are doing very well. Ross Barkley, obviously, I put him there as a central midfield starter for the game. But I mean, they also have the option of Mateo Kovacic when he's not injured. He could be a doubt for tomorrow's game. So I mean, yeah, they've done very well. And the signing of Kepa as well, I think, was a very astute one, given that the Chelsea lost Courtois to Real Madrid. Such an important player for Chelsea over the last couple of years.
He's probably regretting that now. Well, maybe not so much now, but he's had a few dodgy games now. They lost 5-0 to Barcelona, 5-1. And Belgium lost as well, 5-2 to Switzerland, or 5-3?
Yes, 5-2.
5-2, so he's been suffering a bit recently.
Yeah, definitely. And also, if you remember last season, David Luiz wasn't getting a look in at all for Conte. Again, I think there's just personal issues between Luiz and the manager. Luis always starts for any club, and last season was an exception. But he's come back in now with Sarri. He's played very well. Also, a special mention for Antonio Rudiger. He's also made a name for himself at Chelsea this season and played extremely, extremely well. And the midfield, N'Golo Kante, as you mentioned, signing new contracts.
Yeah.
How much was it again?
285,000, I think it was.
I mean, it's a lot of money, but
if a player deserves it, it's him. Yeah,
definitely.
Not just because he's such a good footballer, but he's such a nice. He seems to be such a nice guy.
Yeah, well, there was a thing that came out in the German newspaper website where the Football Leagues one, where they've said, did you see that? They said that Chelsea offered to open him like a hedge for like a tax-free account, and he said, "No, I'll just pay my taxes as normal."
Oh, really?
I think it was something to do with image rights, and he just said, "No, I'll just
try to get him to play, to have a non-taxable."
Basically, yeah, because most footballers have that, and he declined it, and he said, "I don't mind paying my way."
I love it even more now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, make it 500k.
I think it's the only time that a leak has come out, and it's actually made someone look better rather than worse. So yeah, I mean, nice guy, and also I'll be honest with you, I'm very, very jealous that Chelsea got hold of Jorginho from Napoli. He's a fantastic midfielder, great passer on the ball, very astute as well, dictating play. And there was a statistic that I read recently that Chelsea are the team with the most completed passes in the Premier League.
I think he's got the most completed passes in the Premier League.
Outdoing second place Man City by 500 passes. So it goes to show, the type of football Chelsea are playing.
And Man City are no slouches when it comes to passing football. That's their whole mantra, right?
Well, exactly, yeah. So it says a lot, really, that what Sarri's done is great. A lot of Chelsea fans keep saying that there's a transition and that they won't win the league this season, and that's because Sarri hasn't won a major trophy before. That is going to be an issue. But I'll be honest with you, I actually think Chelsea and Man City, one of them will win the league. Most likely Man City. But a lot of talk has been made of Liverpool. Honestly, they chokers, really. They've been in the league for God knows how many years, obviously since the Premier League started. But
yeah. There was that one season like 4 years ago when that game against Palace kind of defined their running.
Well, even then they were 5 points ahead, 3 games remaining, and they just
that Gerrard slip kind of set the tone for the last few games of the season.
Yeah, exactly, and it's this is just typical Liverpool. A lot of people talk about Liverpool being a big club, and I guess they are financially, and they've got fans all over the world and things like that. But they're chokers, really. They haven't won the Premier League. The Champions League, the last one was 12 years ago now.
The key difference is nowadays is that they've got a world-class centre-back in Virgil van Dijk. So that could be a difference. I think last time when they were that close to winning the league, they had people like Mamadou Sakho. Was he in defence? So I think, Virgil van Dijk is clearly an upgrade on that.
No, but even when they won the Champions League, they had a good team, and they didn't do nothing in the league that season, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. It was just Rafa Benitez working his magic.
Yeah, everyone talks about Gerrard and what a great player he was, but again, another player who didn't win the league. And Liverpool have had all these, good players, Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen, Steven Gerrard, have come through to Anfield, and again, they just don't do it. And Rafa Benitez, as you mentioned, has been the closest.
Yeah, this season is going to be very good. You have 4 good teams, very close to each other. So it's not we're not seeing Man City of last year pulling away. By this point 6-7 points clear. They're still quite very very close. So yeah, it's good. this Christmas, I think, will define who will be the top 2 teams to challenge it.
Yeah.
I think this fixture running will define those that have the strength and depth and those that don't. So yeah, I think come January we'll see who's going to be challenging for that top spot.
Yeah,
I think it'll be 2 teams. I think people are saying it's going to be Liverpool that's going to be up there with Man City. We'll find out soon.
I mean, what do you think? Do you think Liverpool are going to be up there?
I like them. I hope it is. Because I think they play really good football, and I like their counter-attacking, fast pace with that that trident up front of Salah, Firmino, and
I think they play a lot
Mane.
like Leicester when Leicester won the league.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
I think they long ball it a lot. Like when I wanted to see Spurs Liverpool, I noticed that they hit the ball long a lot because they know the danger that Salah and Mane can do with their speed, and obviously they're very good players as well. So I mean, the goal that Salah scored against Fulham recently is a perfect example of how Liverpool can break away and cause problems to any team, and yeah, that's going to be a huge advantage to them.
Has Naby Keita been playing? Has he?
Well, that's the other thing. I remember, I think it was the first game of the season, or Liverpool's first game at Anfield at least, that Keita played against West Ham, played very well. Next minute, all over social media, the world's best midfielder. But then he just kind of fell off, and Fabinho was kind of making his way into the team now. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how far Liverpool will go. But I'm going to put my neck out here and say one of Liverpool or Arsenal will not finish in the top 4. A lot of people are going to say, obviously, Arsenal because they think Liverpool are so strong. But genuinely, I can see Liverpool really fucking this one up.
Really?
And finishing 5th.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think of all those ones, I think people would say is Arsenal's going to finish in the top, outside the top 4. But, I mean, even this season, they're kind of doing very well under Unai Emery. They've kind of put away Arsene Wenger very easily, very quickly. It's not like Man United when they kind of you can still say they probably try and still undergoing that transition, post Alex Ferguson transition phase, 6 years on, or 5 or 6 years on, I can't remember how many years it is. But it seems like Arsenal have done away with that very, very, very easily, which kind of shows that Arsene Wenger overstayed his time at Arsenal.
Yeah.
So
I think he even admitted it recently that he probably stayed there for too long.
Yeah. So I think Arsenal. I think for me, Arsenal will finish outside the top 4. But hopefully, my friend Shad isn't watching this because he'll kill me. He seems convinced there's going to be Arsenal finishing in the top 4. But yeah, hopefully their fans kind of liven up because they've been a bit quiet this season and not giving their team the strong backing. But it's a shame to see Danny Welbeck get injured recently.
Oh, that was a pity. Yeah,
Europe League against, I think, Sporting Lisbon, was it?
Yeah, he broke his ankle, didn't he? Complete.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
It looked pretty bad. I'll show you the pictures later.
Oh, don't. Allow it.
But yeah, unfortunately for Danny Welbeck, obviously he got an injury and I think he'll be out for at least 9 months. So that is pretty unfortunate. Which, I mean, going completely off topic here, Callum Wilson was called into the England team.
He scored, didn't he?
He scored as well.
Scored 2?
He scored 1. Let's not get carried away. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Actually, no, quickly, let's talk about Bournemouth. What do you
just let me just round up this. So as you can see, that the only other team news for Chelsea really, Ethan Ampadu is confirmed as not being available for this game. Quick prediction for Spurs Chelsea. Stu gets goals.
I'll do a River BOCA first leg 2-2 result.
2-2 result.
Yeah, 2-2 result.
I'm going to go with, considering I think Chelsea are really a strong team. Other seasons I would have put Spurs up there, but honestly, I think it might even finish 3-3. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Okay.
Yeah, given how.
If you're saying you're not gonna win, then it kind of it's a bit deep.
A bit deep. I mean, I think we can win, but I'll be honest, Davinson Sanchez not being there is a big factor.
Do you reckon Foyth might be too soon for Foyth? It's such a big game.
No. There's no reason why he can't just play, but it could be a tricky one. And given how good Chelsea are playing and how they keep the ball, and Eden Hazard's form this season.
Yeah, he's been on fire.
As well as Willian, to be honest. I think Willian's been playing very well.
He's always very good, consistently very good.
Yeah, and obviously that team's pretty good, and that goalkeeper's pretty good as well. But yeah, if not 3-3, then 0-0.
I don't see it being 0-0.
So yeah, what did you want to touch on?
I don't know. Just let's talk about the Championship. I think the Championship is probably one of the most. I think nowadays it's more evident that it's one of the most exciting leagues in the world. I think it's more so now. That it's the case now. It's now evident that it's one of the biggest leagues in the world because the amount of teams that are there that are former Premier League big boys.
Right.
Like Aston Villa. You got other big teams like Hull that they're there now. they're struggling. Who else? Who else? You've got big teams there. Do you know any other big teams there?
Well, you're the one who brought the subject up.
No, the reason the reason I wanted to touch on it is because it's a league that's close to my heart because I follow it passionately. I should know more about those big teams that are in the league, but yeah, Brentford's one of the small ones in this division, and some people say they're pushing above their weight, and I think they are, but I think this season they started off very strongly, and now they're kind of falling by the wayside with Dean Smith leaving the Bees and going to Aston Villa.
Yeah, that was a strange one. I thought.
I don't see it as too strange.
In the sense that obviously the loyalties are a thing in football, not really a thing in football anymore. But it would have been nice to see him stay because he was doing things at Brentford.
Yeah. There's a project there, and he seemed to be very keen with the project. And his interviews, even when he was getting linked with the job at Aston Villa, he was still saying that no, Brentford's got a very exciting project, one of the most exciting in the league. Yeah. Next day, I think he signed for Aston Villa.
There was an Ipswich West Brom game today. Let me have a quick look at the score and see actually who won that game. But you mentioned the big teams in the Championship. There's a lot of them at ex-Premier League.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like I'm talking more than 50% of the league now, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's Aston Villa, there's Derby County. They're not recently. They weren't recently in the Premier League, but
but in the last 10 years at least.
Yeah, but now they're managed by Frank Lampard with very big budgets because they have good strong backing. So it's very very hard for the smaller teams like Brentford, Bristol City, for example. You've got Ipswich there. It's hard for them to compete against such big budgets.
Yeah.
And I think Brentford's in the bottom 4 in the league. Yeah, they consistently finish top 10.
Don't they make the most money from player sales as well?
Yeah, they make the most amount of money from player sales. That's true. They buy them cheap from the lower leagues or from Ligue 2 in France, and they sell them for sometimes for £10 million or more, or close to that figure. So that models work for them in terms of the financial department. But when it comes to if you want to push in the league, you have to try and retain some of that top talent and try and push on in the league. But it seems like that model's getting in the way, and the most they can aspire to for the moment is top 10. Whether or not that will change when we move to the new season, that remains to be asked. But I just think that if we do invest in some players, I want it to be experienced players that have been there and done it. Because I think right now we have too many young players and not enough leadership in that team. And I think this season Dean Smith tried to instill. There was a new tactic they wanted to try out. Have a leader, have a new captain every game, to try and get players to be more vocal and more and try and show these leadership abilities. But it did work at first, and now when he left, I think they went through a patch of 5 games without a win, and that patch has kind of continued since he left, with Thomas Frank picking up only 1 win in 5. So I'm not sure what is going wrong there. We're scoring goals, but defensively we've been very weak.
I don't see a lot of the Championship, but I do know Norwich have been doing very well this season.
Yeah.
West Brom obviously want to come straight back up to the Premier League.
Stoke as well. You got Bojan Krkic there playing.
That's true. Yeah. Just to confirm as well, the result today was Ipswich Town 1, West Brom 2. Jay Rodriguez opened the score in 26 minutes, with Harvey Barnes scoring 77th minute, putting West Brom 2-0 up. Caden Jackson scoring a consolation goal in the 85th minute. And as the table goes at the moment, we've got Norwich in first place with 33 points. West Brom with 31 points, just finishing the top 5. Middlesbrough on 31 points, Leeds United on 30 points, and Sheffield United on 30 points. Now, a lot have been made of Bielsa's appointment at Leeds, and a lot of nice viral videos have been showing of their tenacity and the way they win the ball back and the way they build up the play. Do you think Leeds have got a good opportunity of going up, and automatically?
They're only 1 point from the top 2, so 1 point off the top 2, I think. Yeah, and the way they play is very good. It's very attractive, very expansive. It's quite similar to Brentford's style of play.
Easy.
all right, mate. But they have a good player in Paulo Hernandez, ex-Swansea. He's still a good playmaker. They have Samuel Saiz.
Technically good player.
Samuel Saiz, and he's been good as well. So they have strength and depth too, which I think is very important in this league with them playing 46 games a season, not including cup ties. It's important to have strength and depth. So that's something that's going to work in their favour come towards the end of the season. But I think Sheffield United for me are the surprise ones there, because they're punching above their weight.
To be fair.
But West Brom, it's not surprising to see teams like West Brom there.
Aston Villa look disappointing. 11th place. I mean, we're a team
I mean,
with
that's why they sacked Steve Bruce, right? Because he just couldn't. He wasn't really buying a win at home, and they weren't scoring goals. But I think
have fortunes changed since?
Yeah, so they've picked up 3 wins now in the last 5.
Okay.
And most impressively, they beat Derby County away from home 3-0, quite decisively.
I saw that actually.
So it shows that there's something going on there, and plus the strength and depth they've got. They've got Anwar Ghazi, I think, from Ajax. And they've got They've got players like Scott Hogan, who cost a fortune from Brentford. He was a good player. They've got Kodja, he was quite prolific last season.
I don't know. I've swim a couple of times. He's a bit of a
dodgy, but
Musa Sissoko.
up front.
He's a bit
gangly. He's a bit all over the place.
Yeah,
but I think the player that's kind of stuck out this season has been John McGinn. He's won a few. He's won a few. Quite a few plaudits in this season. So I think they have.
He scored that goal, that left foot top corner. Sick goal.
Did it?
Remember? I don't know if you saw it. It was all over the internet.
No.
It was a ridiculous goal. But yeah, he's done very well.
He's good. But I mean, for me personally, if you ask me about Brentford, I'll right now settle for top 10 because right now we're 15th in a bad run, and I mean, whenever I see Brentford play, it's always good to see them. They always end up scoring first, but they just can't seem to hold a lead. Whenever you see them play, because now we have Sky Sports there. And they're showing all the midweek fixtures. So I've seen a few of their games.
It's great, by the way.
Huh?
I think that's brilliant.
It's fantastic, and also the Football League signed a contract with Sky. I don't know if you've seen this, but they signed it for quite a hefty amount of money to show more fixtures in the main Sky Sports channels.
Oh wow!
So it's I think it's a 20% increase in money.
They need it because they've lost everything.
But it's going to benefit smaller teams in the league because they're competing against teams with parachute payments of like 3 years with hecklers of money. So the smaller teams there are going to benefit from the additional money more than the other big teams. But yeah, as I was saying, when I've seen Brentford play, they play attractive football, they play exciting football, very expansive, passing it very side to side, very good. But whenever they score, they always look as if they're going to concede, always. So I mean, there needs to be something done in the midfield to try and keep the composure in the team.
Do you think you'd be higher up if your manager stayed and didn't go? Had it gone to Villa?
No, I mean, we probably wouldn't have lost 4 out of the last 5 games because I mean we weren't losing the games before we left. We were actually drawing them, most of them. So I think we'd probably be higher in the league, but I think that still doesn't address the question of us not having any leadership in that team. We've got a lot of youthful players, which is not enough of a physical presence in that team, which I think has affected us because the Championship was still quite, even though it's come leaps and bounds in terms of passing football, attractive football, it's still quite physical. Which I think Stoke have found very difficult to deal with.
Right.
Because I think they're kind of near Brentford right now. They're kind of, I think, just to play one place above Brentford in 14th. So they found it quite a tricky transition.
I find it quite surprising, actually. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Championship, as in I don't watch a lot of it. Ipswich Town's defeat put them bottom of the table and 5 points away. Yeah, the team above them. So
yeah, I mean they went for this appointment in Paul Hurst from Shrewsbury Town, and it just didn't work. They weren't picking results and they weren't playing good football. So he was sacked. I think 3 games ago.
Lambert now the manager.
I think it is Paul Lambert. Yeah. So they've gone for a more tried and tested approach. They'll probably have to wait and see a few more games in and see if that works. But I mean, it's a shame to see Millwall there. I mean, they were the team that kind of punched way above their weight last season and finished in the playoffs. Oh no, just outside the playoffs in I think 7th place, and they really have a shoestring budget. But I think this season they're suffering from not having George Savile in midfield, who they sold for a club record £8 million to Middlesbrough.
Yes.
So I think tomorrow, Brentford Middlesbrough, that should be a good game on Sky Sports at 5:30. There are bogey teams, so I don't know whether we can turn this around under new management is a question we all need to wait and see for an answer to.
Well, there you go. So if you don't want to watch Spurs Chelsea at 5:30, you've got Brentford.
Yeah, I know which one I'll be watching.
Oh yeah, Tottenham. Yeah, great. And I mean, personally, I've seen Leeds play, for example, this season. I think they've been very good. Also, I've been very impressed with Frank Lampard's debut as manager for Derby County. He's done particularly well. I think it was a great coup to get Mason Mount on board. For Derby, he's a very good player. I saw him a few times. Playing in the Eredivisie last season, and he reminds me a lot of Lampard. I think he can do a job in the Premier League. Whether or not he starts for Chelsea or plays for Chelsea next season is honestly just historically looking at the way Chelsea bring in youngsters. I think it's very unlikely. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek is being wasted at Chelsea, and he should maybe take a leaf out of Jadon Sancho's book and actually go abroad. go to the Bundesliga or Italy or somewhere. Just get out of the club and then just make a career. Just start doing it now because he's old enough now. He had his performances at Palace last season. Got him an England call up. He's a quality player when he does play, especially this season. He's actually been very effective at scoring goals. So,
I mean, they also had that player Harry Wilson in Derby. He's a free kick specialist.
He is very good.
I think he scored in.
Didn't he score against Man United?
Yeah, he scored against Man United, and I think he scored in. I think he got called up for a team.
International Ireland.
Yeah, or I don't know which one it was. I think maybe Wales. I'm not sure. Actually, I think it might have been Ireland. I think. But yeah, he's a very good player, and he'll be critical for their promotion push. But I think I mean I was kind of skeptical with. I'm always skeptical with these kind of appointments of like former big name players to teams like that kind of big. Because I don't think they have that managerial experience, but it seems like Lampard just defied the norm. And
I mean, Giggs at Wales is an example of one, and Thierry Henry at Monaco.
But I mean, you have to give Thierry Henry some some slack because he's gone to a team that's really struggling, and they haven't got the same players they had 2-3 years ago when they had who did they have? They had Bernard Silva.
No, but they've got a team. Monaco are a team. I mean, obviously they've been hit by injuries. But I
mean, you can't expect them to be challenged, to be up there.
They shouldn't be bottom.
I mean, that's true. I think it's the second from bottom, or they're actually bottom.
They shouldn't be bottom like relegations though. They shouldn't be.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. I mean, they have veterans like Falcao there, but it just seems like he's inherited a team that's been right now very low in morale. But I think the January transfer window will be critical for their aspirations. I think if they're still in the relegation zone come January, that's when the panic alarm will start to sound.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to see they've already been relegated, haven't they?
Who?
Monaco. They came back up, didn't they?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant like this season officially. No, yeah, they came up 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but obviously they had that Russian billionaire come in, bought all these players. Even now though, they still got some very good young players coming through.
Just a quick point to add is that Falcao's been linked with Real Madrid. For some reason, he's been linked with Real Madrid.
Real Madrid B.
He's actually been linked with Real Madrid for a loan potentially, but I mean I don't see that happening. Do you? I don't think you've heard that, but
I've not heard of it. I doubt it's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'd be very surprised if he actually did go and do that. I don't know. I mean, he's still. I was going to say he's still a good player. The way Monaco are going at the moment, I wouldn't actually put my neck out and say, is that great? But yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, who have they got on the bench apart from Benzema? What's striker-wise?
But I think they've always relied on Benzema, haven't they? They've never really relied on other strikers apart from him.
Well, I mean, Ronaldo really, had a lot of weight on his shoulders and became the main man, and clearly, obviously, one of the best players of all time, and scoring plenty of goals for Real Madrid, and was really the linchpin in Real Madrid, winning so many Champions Leagues in the last 5 years. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Benzema gets a lot of stick. He's still there. He's been there, 7-8 years. And to be fair, he scores goals, but he misses a lot of them as well.
Oh yeah, he misses tons.
Falcao is a danger in the box. Maybe they want to, just have a target man staying in that position because he's not going to do a lot of running. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. But
okay, we can only,
good for him if it does.
We can only, keep our fingers crossed because that'll be massive. If he was to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, bring back James as well. Why not?
Oh, that'd be wicked. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So if anyone from Real Madrid's, executive board is watching.
If you're listening,
just get those two together.
We'll take a cut of it as well. So yeah, I think we're done for today. Extended live stream.
Yeah, special one for the River BOCA game tomorrow.
Thank you to the thousands watching. I'll be here next week. Whether or not he'll be, we shall see. There we go. There goes the studio. So yeah, and just a quick one. I know you've been seeing the ticker thing at the bottom. I wanted to start a debate. Gareth Southgate came out this week and actually said that Harry Kane is possibly the best striker in the world. Of course, I'm going to say he is. To be fair, the last 4 years, I think only Messi and Ronaldo have scored more than him. So,
but there isn't really like a number 9 out there in the world, is there? That's can challenge him.
I mean, no. I mean, everyone talks about Lewandowski and Cavani and things like that, and Kane's matching them at least, or even beating them. To be honest with you. He's just on form, and people talk about Aguero, and yeah, Aguero's a fantastic player, but I think Aguero's won 1 Golden Boot. Kane's got 2 now, and in the last 4 seasons, Kane's outscored him. So
yeah,
if we're talking about currently,
he's got a case.
Then yeah, I mean,
strong case.
It's like this thing with carry on now. with Didier Drogba. Everyone says Didier Drogba was a fantastic Premier League player. He scored 4 more goals than Matt Letizia and played 50 games more, I think. So it's all relative, really. I mean, obviously, he's a very good, mentally strong player and rolled the team on. But Chelsea always had players like Ballack, Terry, Lampard, Czech as well, in terms of the mental state. So it's a very subjective thing coming up with your the best striker in the world. But personally speaking, I think he is the best. He's on form. People always write him off. He's still scoring. And last season he would have won a 3rd Golden Boot had it not been for Salah's exceptional season, because I'm pretty sure Harry Kane was 1 goal behind and both had scored more than 30. So that's an exceptional season in general. But yeah, so that's a discussion. Let us know what you think. Is Harry Kane the best striker in the world? Let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at soccer_Sanchez. Also, I'm on Instagram at soccer.sanchez. And you can search for me on YouTube and Twitch, Soccer Sanchez TV. Just put it in the search bar. And also, if you want to follow my man here at Stu Gets Goals, he's always on the ball with his Twitter account. Don't be alarmed if you haven't seen the tweets for a while. Hit him up on the DMs, slide in there, and let him know how you are and your thoughts. Yeah. So again, thank you for a lovely Friday night.
Thank you for having me.
I might be on tomorrow. We shall see for a live stream. But do catch the BOCA game. I'm Brentford, of course, against Millwall. And Spurs Chelsea, as we previewed today. Thank you very much for your time. And please hit that like button, subscribe, follow. And as I said, comment on the video. And it'd be great to hear from you and get a discussion going. Thank you very much. And it's been emotional.
Peace.
Adios, amigos.